Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the championship round of Credit Card Madness 2025, our last episode of the season. There is only one thing left to do but to crown a winner. On one hand, representing Cashback, we have the City Custom Cash, hoping to put its first win on the board for Cashback as a whole in 4 tournaments. And on the other hand, we have the defending champion, 2-time defending champion, Capital One Venture X, looking to make it a 3-peat for that card, as well as a clean sweep over the 4 years for travel in the tournament. The votes are in. You guys have decided who's in, who's out, who's going to be our champion. So let's go ahead, crown them, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work here. Now, as always, the Credit Card Madness tournament is the channel's credit card tournament. Annual credit card tournament run just like March Madness. We have a cashback region. We have a travel region. It's single elimination until there's only 2 cards left, one representing each side. They meet in the middle. It's where we're at right now. Again, Custom Cash, Venture X. Of course, there can only be one winner. The best part about this tournament is always decided by you, the viewers at home. Now, if you want to get caught up on the latest before you watch and see who the winner is, well, then if you go over to the main channel page, all the way at the bottom is a Credit Card Madness section with all the past years divided into playlists, and of course, the 2025 one is being built out as well. So, as we said last time, in last episode, we set up our final matchup. We have the Custom Cash, we have the Venture X. Let's put our bracket on screen here and get to work crowning this winner. So you can see the Custom Cash again. This is its 2nd year in a row being a #1 seed. Last year, it did not make it to the finals. It was edged out by the Saber 1. Not the case. Got in the weight room, trained a little harder, and it is the cashback champion. And of course, on the travel region, we have that 2-time defending champion Venture X card. Moved cleanly through all the rounds. No real issues, no real scares for either one of these cards. Though I will surmise the City card was helped out by the Smartly rumors, but that's fine. I won't hold a grudge. So, the big question at hand, what you had to vote for, as we said, will Cashback get on the board and win a tournament, or will Travel continue to sweep through this year over year with our first 3-time champion? And the votes are in. I'm happy to say on the Cashback channel, Cashback is finally on the board because the City Custom Cash takes the crown for 2025 with 100 votes. Capital One Venture X hangs in there, just not enough to make a 3-peat. It takes home 81 votes. Again, making the City Custom Cash your 2025 Credit Card Madness champion and getting Cashback its first win in 4 tournaments. Overall, here are the stats, and here's how you voted. You can see, again, I do one with the numbers on the other slide. There's 181 total responses. City Custom Cash, 55.2% of the votes. I didn't plan for it to have the blue color in the pie chart, but it is somewhat fitting. Capital One Venture X, 44.8% of the votes. Not a runaway by any means, but again, it is enough. As Vin Diesel would say, by an inch or by a mile, a win is a win. And there is your overall final bracket. You can see the City Custom Cash sitting atop the bracket with its crown on, taking it home for Cashback representing. So there you have it. You guys have spoken. Cashback finally on the board. Makes me very happy as someone who owns 2 Custom Cash cards and of course wants more. Keeps applying for City cards just to convert them into Custom Cash cards. So we'll do a commentary section. We'll do a what's next to come next year in 2026, some potential ideas. Commentary, I almost think that this is like, you know how LeBron James probably could have been the league MVP for like 10 straight years, but eventually people get tired of voting for the same person. They end up voting for somebody else. I kind of, even though I'm a fan of Cashback, I feel like that's probably what happened to the Venture X, because the Venture X, outside of the priority pass changes, which have really hit every single card that we've seen, there's nothing really happened that would kneecap it or cause it to lose. Unlike, Smartly that gets caught up in rumors, the AAA Daily Advantage just isn't that much of a popular card, no matter how good it is. On and on and on, right? So I think people probably just got tired of the Venture X winning, is my guess, and want to see Cashback. And the Custom Cash, very good card. Its only weakness is that you can't really recommend it to people in the early game because it's a one-trick deal. As many of you who don't like the Custom Cash or don't love it as much have pointed out, the usefulness of the Custom Cash is it being a really good utility player, and that's why people with 10, 15, 20 cards really like Custom Cash, because then the answer is just get more Custom Cash. So I do think because of what its trick is, it becomes very powerful for a lot of folks in Cashback. outside elevation or outside bonus points to it could be in preparation of the triple, or not AAA, but AA, American Airlines, becoming a transfer partner of Citi, because at that point that would make the custom cash that much more powerful, because it's an easy way to earn thank you points and then presumably move them over to American Airlines. That could have been a little bit, but at the same time, if that was the case, so then the Strata Premier may have done a little bit better. Not that it did bad anyways. I think if that news had been finalized and we had a transfer partner set up in place, or agreement between American Airlines and Citi, then we probably would have had an all Citi final. It's also somewhat interesting to see Citi in the finals, given Citi is no one's favorite bank. They just do happen to issue some good cards. So again, overall, as a cashback person who has 2 of these cards, very happy to see cashback take it and become its defending champion going into 2026. Now we'll have to see, the interesting part, we'll see how does the Venture X land. The Venture X has been a 1 seed, for the last 2 years being a defending champion. How will it qualify? Will it fall into the same pit as American Express did? When you look around, they're not even in the tournament. Who's to say? Who's to say even what new cards we'll get between now and then? That's all the fun of it, and which leads me to the last part of, we could run the tournament again like this exact same way. I'm always open to different ideas and different thoughts. One, I'll leave you with one that I had, was what folks always ask for: a large tournament with, like, why don't you do 32 cards? Because the real March Madness is 64 teams. I don't know. We could find 32 cards. I don't know if we could find 64. The reason I haven't done is, one, it'd probably take too long. Number two, if you look year over year at the tournament, it's always the same card. There's only a handful of differences. The Altitude Reserve has been retired. This time the AAA card got in, and one of the Amex Blue Cash Everydays was out. The Smartly was in over the Cash Plus. But for the most part, they're still the same card. So I don't really know if it makes sense to expand to 32. I think it would just take too long. And what's the chance that one of those 32 is going to win if they're not in the top 4 or 5, honestly. But I did think one of the problems I have with the tournament is that I think it just takes a week too long to finish. I'd like it to finish in 1 month, like 4 episodes. I thought about we could do a qualifying round of a ton of cards, and then we could just play it live together. You'd have to look more into it, how to best facilitate that. The downside would be, not everyone necessarily gets to vote. But candidly, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, this isn't a complaint, I'm just going with what I see. I wait till like Friday night, Saturday morning to tabulate these, to go through and pull who won. Off of like 1,500, 2,000 views, there's 181 votes. So that's fine. Don't vote if you don't want to. Like, do whatever you want to do. But at the same time, I'm assuming there's 181 people who really care and would show up potentially to play it live. Then everyone else will probably be fine just catching the replay. So I think that could be of interest going forward, to change it a little bit. Because I do want to keep the tournament here and keep doing it, because it's not popular. These videos are always 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And in the YouTube world, 1 out of 10 is your best video over the last 10. 10 out of 10 is your worst. These are consistently that. But that's not why I do it. I do it because the people who like it really like it. And I think it's cool that we have this, and there's very few things that you don't see replicated anywhere else. Not that anyone couldn't do it. So I do want to keep it, but those are more of my thoughts. I do think we need to do something to it, make it a little bit more interesting, perhaps. I'm open to ideas down below. I'll probably just drop you a heart to say I read it, considering it for next year's tournament. But that's what I'm thinking overall. So let me know what you're thinking down, what you'd like to see in the 2026 tournament. But more importantly, in 2026, we at least know we go into it with a cashback champion. So that's been it. That's been 2025 Credit Card Madness. Starting next week, we'll go back to our regular schedule. Of course, we'll have the Sunday show, then the main, the inch wide, a mile deep topic, thought topic, conversation topic, whatever you want to call it, will be on Thursdays again. Of course, Run on the Bank has us on Monday and Wednesday. That hasn't changed. So again, thank you for showing up, for playing, for voting, for getting cash back finally into the game and on the winner's board. Do appreciate it. It was a really good 2025 tournament. We'll see you right back here next year in 2026 to crown another champion in some way, shape, or form. And of course, we'll see you later this week for the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you found it interesting, you want to see the regular content, of course, drop me a like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week. And of course, right back every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And of course, every single day over on profitcontent.com, which is the channel's blog. We not only have the latest news stories that took out Smartly, we have plenty of credit card offers so you can pick up some of these cards if you want. And of course, we have plenty of bank promotions from all these guys so you can take all their money while you're at it. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for this one. As always, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.